Chat, is this real? A common mimetic phrase often dropped in comments of absurd videos. A cat breakdancing and doing algebra. Chat, is this real? A deepfake of the Pentagon exploding and then it all, disintegrating to reveal it's a hologram on Mars. Chat, is this real? This simple phrase, which originated from Twitch streamers asking about videos and pieces of content sent to them, or reacting to content and saying, is this real? Has now morphed into something, a commonplace saying by much of Gen Z. What I would argue is the most content-aware generation, other than Gen Alpha, who are still trapped in their skibbity toilet syndrome phase, so they don't really count. They haven't yet fully actualized and become aware of what's happening to them. They will be more aware than Gen Z, though. But getting back to the point, chat, is this real? This common phrase, to me, is innocuously simple. There's a lot underneath it that is incredibly fascinating to me. To me, it is the best indication of what I consider a hyper content aware society that we are developing. I've said in videos prior to this, 5-10 years ago, the types of memes, the types of jokes online, the types of things we found funny were vastly more simple. They were vastly more straightforward. Now we are, in the words of Dreg or many other people who discuss and joke about post irony, we're quite far ahead of that. We're in a point where, some of the most absurd things are now funny. Think the Smurf cat meme, something that has recently taken the internet by storm. All it is a strange, almost AI-generated kitten Smurf with the song, "We live, we love, we lie, dan, 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 dan," and it'll like dance around. There's a million different versions of the format, but a joke like that, a meme like that, to me is almost a mockery of what memes are. It is funny because there's no reason it should be going viral. It is much like the abstract meme impressionism era when people just put like Lord Farquaad in a deep fried image and it just says E. We're now at a point where TikTok has like accelerated memes to such a point where a version of E goes viral pretty much like once or twice a month. And the only thing that seems to be like the common line or through line in it is just the tools for meme generation have become so decentralized and easily accessible in the hands of people through things like CapCut that type of thing can be created and happens so regularly. And the underlying sentiment beneath all of it is, it's almost an awareness of how pointless and banal these memes are, which I think is one of the characteristics of Gen Z, is that in this deep content awareness where very few psyops and things work the same way that they might on a boomer who just sees the Smurf cat and they're like, unironically, is this real? The Gen Z person jokes about it. They say, chat, is this real? Because they know it's not real. It's a joke to ask chat, is this real? That's part of it. It's an awareness of how much content is fake and made up. It's AI generated, or it's just existing for no real point. It's existing for the sake of the joke, the sake of the meme. Do it for the Vine, do it for the meme, the layer underneath. I say all of this to say the content-aware generation of people are going to be incredibly hard. What is that over there? They're going to be incredibly hard to market to. They're going to be incredibly hard to influence. They're going to be considerably more scatterbrained, honestly, because I think the medium itself elicits like it's a schizophrenizing thing. Like, watch the Core video and you'll see that. But at the same time, traditional kind of like Facebook political marketing and stuff like that is not going to work as simply. You really, if you want to make anything fit in Gen Z, and they are increasingly going to become a generation that it's going to matter to have the attention and the favor of, much like millennials are, like, obviously they're becoming the biggest generation once baby boomers die off. It's important to understand how to communicate with them, and chat is real. Chat, is this real, to me, is the best meme to understand the ideas behind why they joke about the things they do, which is, it is almost like a sort of accepted unreality of it all, a sort of like it's all in jest, it's all sort of a, you know, nihilistic, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't really matter that much. And if I was to make a political candidate appeal massively among Gen Z, honestly, Trump is someone who works very well, because it's, you know, he's always memeing, he's always coming up with some new narrative and new kind of like set of mimetic phrases to shove down people's throat. And it does definitely seem like he doesn't really stand on a lot of his opinions. Like he is relatively with the flow of whatever is going to help him get elected. But if I was running a new political candidate, let's not talk about people who exist, adopting that same ethos of just kind of playing to the absurdity of the internet, being willing to not take oneself seriously, being willing to play with the jokes, but not in a manner that's you know, clearly copying. But this is all just to say, chat, is this real? It is a call sign of what I think is a generation who won't be susceptible to AI, but a generation who will be susceptible to memes and a type of sentiment that is probably equally as destructive. That being, you know, if nothing matters, if it's all a joke, if it's all little stupid memes or whatever's viral in the moment, like, how do we know what's really worthwhile? I think, you know, that's part of the reason a lot of Gen Z, who are maybe the non-online of them, are returning to, you know, they're so stringently into like fucking like strict rules about relationships or religion, and it's kind of like that whole sentiment on Twitter that's, you know, they police each other kind of in the way that the left polices each other on language and certain kind of things around ideology. The right does that about like, what's your body count? Like, do you eat seed oils? Do you lift? Blah, 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 blah. Like, you need to live this very specific style of life. And, you know, they themselves are falling for another meme complex. I think the only way you can avoid any of it fully is to just leave it. But that is not appealing. It's not cool. You're not going to fit in, and you're probably going to struggle to get jobs and all of that kind of stuff. You need to be with the times to stay in society, which is unfortunate, but it's part of the reason the vast majority of people can't just throw their phones away. So to just fully leave it is tough. It's hard. It takes a lot of willpower, but it is arguably the only way to finally find the real that chat might be able to help you towards. But the other thing I'll just tack on at the end here is when they say chat is this real, there is like the content-brained Gen Z person, because they watch so much content, and the personalities they mock or mirror themselves off of have audiences. In their own head, the joke is kind of that they have an audience and that everything is with an audience, and that there's this collective understanding of the rest of the generation speculating on their existence, which kind of leads to this like, you know, it's the policing thing. It's wanting to be in line with whatever group you're a part of and not wanting to like shake the boat too much, or, you know, if you do, it's kind of within the parameters of what's provocative and allowed inside of those genres. But that is another facet of it, is they're very internet brain. They're worried about how they're being perceived. Don't perceive me is probably one of the biggest Gen Z kind of things women and men say, probably more so women, but it's definitely a sentiment men find to articulate in their own ways. What do? Leave the internet, but how do you do that if society is so dependent upon it? Honestly, build yourself up, have an ability to actually go live in the woods and do those kinds of things, which can be expensive or require skills and trades and knowledge, and that's not what this channel's about. But hopefully you can arm yourself to be a little bit more aware of the types of mimetic weapons aimed at you, and the types of currents of culture that are swirling people down into little, you know, what's that like Greek Terabis? There's like fucking the two like kraken things that fight each other, pulling into the. It is what it is. Have a great week. We're almost done with a year of videos. I think 2 more. I'll have some interesting stuff at the end of this grand series.